During our self-defense techniques, we're going to be working on wrist flex. There are 4 different angles to flex an opponent's wrist. First, we'll be working on the outward wrist flex. Working with my partner's hands, you can see, I'll be bringing my wrist across, inverting it, putting my thumb on the back of his hand, grabbing the palm of the hand with my fingers. When I twist it to the outside or outward, his palm will come up. I'll be putting pressure against his wrist, pushing against his forearm. At this point, I'll reinforce my grab with my other hand. My thumbs will be crossing. As I keep twisting to the outside, his wrist will lock, then his elbow will lock, then the shoulder will lock. Eventually, his body will go in that direction. Once again, very slow on the outward wrist flex. It's a right hand grab. Reach across with your left hand, thumb on back of the hand. Twist it towards him and up, pushing in the wrist against the forearm. Reinforcing your grab. You lose control. Be grabbing, stepping back with the left foot to unbalance my opponent. Twisting, coming up, reinforcing my grab. Taking him to the mat, driving a knee into the armpit, vicing his elbow between my legs. So again, from single hand grab, step, twist, knee, and vice. The second wrist flex will be the inward wrist flex. Taking my partner's hand once again. The left hand come across, thumb on top. This time just bring the right hand across, thumb on top. As you turn his right wrist inward, you'll see that his body's starting to go to the floor. The palm is up, the wrist is back against the forearm. At this point, I reinforce my grab again. My thumbs will be crossing. As I keep twisting, his elbow will lock, his shoulder will lock, and eventually his body is starting to feel the pressure. From there, the elbow will come on top of his elbow, flexing down into a self-defense move. Once again, real slow. Reach across with your right hand, thumb on back of his hand, twist up, reinforce your grab, keep twisting, keeping his hand close to your body, bringing your elbow on top, flexing your elbow in towards your ribs, and creating pressure down the elbow. Now a self-defense move using the inward wrist flex. From a grab, stepping back to unbalance your opponent, grab, twist, bring him down into a elbow lock. The third wrist flex will be the upward wrist flex. Grabbing my partner's hand, I'll be grabbing with both of my thumbs, crossing on top of his hand, just like in the other 2 previous wrist flex. I'll be pushing the wrist back against the forearm and pushing his wrist also towards his armpit, and then flexing up. You'll notice that my opponent comes off balance at that point. So again, grabbing, both thumbs on top, pushing the wrist in, driving the wrist towards the armpit. From a self-defense situation, somebody's grabbed your clothing or your belt area, grabbing the wrist, push the hand in towards your armpit. As they come off balance, you're going to step across with your left foot, bring the hand over the head, turn and throw. Then drive the knee into the armpit area, and you have an elbow-shoulder lock. The fourth wrist flex will be the downward wrist flex. As my opponent grabs me to the chest area, you'll use the same hand position as the outward wrist flex. I'm reaching across with my left hand, grabbing my partner's hand with my thumb on the back of his hand, and then grabbing the palm of his hand with my fingers. As I twist up, reinforcing my grab again, instead of twisting onto the outside as in the outward wrist flex, I'll step back, pushing the wrist against his forearm, bringing my opponent to the mat. Once again, slowly, reach across with the left hand, thumb on back, twist, step back and push up, bringing my opponent down to the mat. Once again, a little faster, stepping back as you grab, downward wrist flex.